Up in New Jersey, we had winter, spring, summer, and fall. Down here, I feel more like there's 3 seasons. I feel like there was a very short winter, and probably like end of December into the middle of January or something like that, or end of January. It just seems to be very cold for me. Anyway, now that we've been down here for so many years, now I'm cold. And then I think spring starts like February.
Mm-hmm.
And summer probably maybe like April, May, because I plant. So when I plant all my herbs, they do great from October to about April, all the herbs, and then it gets too hot, and I can't grow them anymore.
So how many seasons are you used to from where you came from, and how many seasons do you think there are here in Florida?
I'm used to 4 seasons from where I'm from, and in my head there's only 2 here.
And what are those 2 seasons?
Spring and summer.
So when do they start and
winter for me.
end? When do they start and end? When does spring start?
Spring starts like...
How many seasons do you recognize? Are you used to, and how many seasons do you recognize here in Florida?
Growing up in Southern California, there was 2 seasons. The winter that was colder, rainier, but still shorts weather, and the spring and the summer that were warmer. So I grew up in 2 seasons, but they were always mild and relatively pleasant and full of flowers and gardens and just a nice, pleasant time. When I moved first up the coast to San Francisco and then Seattle, there were obviously more seasonal differences. It really wasn't until I moved to New Jersey and Connecticut and saw snow and had to live in it and deal with all that stuff. It didn't change my seasonality, it just changed the weather. In fact, it was very depressing because to me, when all the deciduous trees lose their leaves and it just looks like something had happened and radiation fallout. And occasionally there'd be some snow for a day, and then it would get muddy and black and ugly, and then it would melt and get muddy, and it would just stay that way for months at a time. Plus your pipes froze and all kinds of other fun things. So coming to Florida, where I've had family and visited for 30 or 40 years, is the closest thing to home I know. And again, it's kind of bi-seasonal. Here, the winter is the pleasant short season, and then it gets the hot summer season. It does change the time sense, because I don't recognize that much of a change, and it's a gradual thing from it gets a little warmer and a little hotter and a little stickier, and then it sort of just stays that way, and then it starts to cool and get a little more pleasant and a little nicer. This year seems to have been a much better winter than last year, much cooler, much more pleasant and long-lasting. So to me, I don't recognize, I feel this again feels much more like home than what I had to live with in the northern climates, whether it was West Coast or East Coast.
Really what people consider winter here, the degrees of temperature in degrees goes down maybe 5, sometimes 10 points, from the 80s and the 90s, it'll go to 60s and 70s and sometimes colder, but it's a relief.
Okay, so previously I neglected to mention Thanksgiving, which I enjoy. Previous years I wasn't allowed to have any I didn't want to have turkey anytime during the year except for Thanksgiving. I didn't want to ruin the Thanksgiving. There's nothing like Thanksgiving because there's no presents, there's no anything, and it's the one time a year turkey kind of a deal, and I enjoyed that. But Halloween was absolutely my favorite holiday. I used to do up the whole house. I probably bought more of those I probably had miles of fake cobwebs throughout the whole house. We had a guillotine and all kinds of things going on. I loved Halloween. when the kids were small, especially. But I especially like when the younger kids came. That was the whole thing for me. But then after a while, they kind of canceled Halloween, and nobody walked around anymore, and there were no kids trick or treating, and I kind of got a little despondent over that.
So down here, do you
Down
do
here,
anything
there is
for
no, there is no,
Thanksgiving or
no. Yeah, Thanksgiving, not really. We'll go out to eat, or once or twice Kim cooked, and it's not really. There's no big family thing here. We try to get together with friends. And Halloween doesn't exist down here for me because.
Do you feel that the Thanksgiving thing is kind of because people are transient through Florida?
No, I guess I'm used to having we're used to having big Thanksgivings, 18, 20, some odd people. It just doesn't happen down here. So we keep it with a small group of friends. We still kind of enjoy the fact that it's Thanksgiving, but it's not the same Thanksgiving. So.
Gotcha.
That if you grow up somewhere like here or Southern California, all the snowy white Christmas stuff is like, you got to be kidding me. I've never seen snow. I've never seen it. That's what's going on.
For us, that's beautiful. Then you're baking and you're in the house and it's very cozy and it's extremely quiet when it's snowing.
Oh yeah,
right. And the fireplace is going and the kids are running around playing and it's just a very intimate time in your home when it snows.
But until you live through that, it's kind of like a fairy tale.
Right.
It's
it's
not real.
Reality. If you've never experienced it, then how would you know?
It's like the Hallmark movie where the parents always have the giant house with like 10 bedrooms. They've never sold it, so that when all their kids come home, they just roll. It's like you got who lives like that?
Yeah, we had that, the giant house, and no kids.
Well, they
had
were
the giant house,
and that's why
they got too old and no grandkids. And we were like, okay, we're gonna have the grandkids. They're gonna be able to go to the lake and the holidays. We got the room and the fireplace. None of it transpired. So we said,
talking about the seasons, though,
we're out of here.
what was really profound to me was, in the winter, like I just said about the snow and how quiet it is, and it's so beautiful and it's tranquil. And then down here, the very first almost hurricane came. And we got ready like it was a snowstorm. Like, we're gonna cook, and we're gonna this, we're gonna that. And the wind and the noise, it was so loud. There was no tranquility. I was terrified. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go into the one room in the hallway.
The storage room.
The storage room. I'm
locker.
gonna hide in there with my
'Cause it's all
mattress and
concrete.
my brownies that I just cooked. I wasn't prepared for the sound,
We had an avocado tree that the owner told me, oh, it's a really good one. You'll see, you'll love it. And it was so good, so flavorful, so meaty and not like watery, nothing, very big avocados. And I took a seed and planted it in a pot and I left it in the corner of the yard, just in the shade. I took no care, absolutely. When we moved, I said, oh, go get that pot of avocado tree. It was like 6 feet tall or something.
Nice.
Put it in the truck. And when Irma came through, I know you won't believe me, but it had 300 avocados on it. Big, ripe, because it was like it was August, September.
Yeah.
That's when they are ripe, those avocados. And I didn't want to take them down because I kept thinking maybe it won't come and we can enjoy them for the next 2 or 3 weeks instead of taking them all down and having to give them to the whole city, because we'll have so many. And I didn't take them down, and it was too top heavy and the wind blew the whole tree over and it broke it in the main root and that. So, but I did get, so this would be the grandmother tree, the mother tree, and this was the child tree. And from that, so great grandchildren of the same mother tree I have 5 of them in my backyard.